Hey there, it's Richland, and I am sharing a little journal that I just completed for a swap over on Junk Journal Junkies. And this is for the tea time swap. And so I got my stage set here. I'm actually having tea tonight while I'm doing my video. It is a blustery, blustery night out there. The wind's blowing and it's cold. So a cup of tea is perfect. And the cup of tea I'm having is Republic of Tea's Dream by the Fireside tea, and I have to tell you, it's absolutely fantastically wonderful. It's decaffeinated, it's rooibos, vanilla, and cinnamon tea, but the cinnamon is not overwhelming. It's very subtle. It is one wonderful tea. So I'm going to push that out of the way, and we're going to get down to business here. That's what we're really here about, the journal. The other thing I want to show you is I made a dangle. This is my first dangle I've ever made. Now, I see all these gorgeous dangles all the time on Junk Journal Junkies, and ladies doing swaps and these big, spectacular dangles. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I can do one. So it didn't require a dangle for the swap, but I was seeing several of the journals that were being posted for this particular tea time swap having dangles off the spine. I'm like, those are awesome. So I went ahead and put together my first dangle, and I think it turned out okay. So I put in a little blingy crown and a little heart lock and a little blingy key, and then just a variety of beads that I thought went well with this particular journal. And it was fun. It was a learning experience, and there's so many videos out there on putting together dangles. So if you're interested in trying it, just go Google bead dangles. And you're going to find a wealth of videos out there on the YouTube. So here's my little journal. Now this is a file folder journal, and 4x6 in size. The swap requirements were one signature. It had to have so many tea time images and so many tuck spots, or at least include tuck spots, pockets, and stamping was optional, but I did use stamping. So other than the size and the keeping the colors light, not to have any bold bright colors, this was a pretty open journal swap. You could add as much to your journal as you wanted. So mine became alligator mouth very quickly. So I saw this image on Pinterest, and to me that said tea room sign, and that's what I went for on the front cover. Was like it was a sign in the window of a tea room. I just put a little button here that I glued on with glossy accents, and just to give it a little pop of color but not being too bright. I did some distressing around the sign and I put a little gold accent. It's kind of hard to pick it up on the, there you go, you can see a little bit on the camera. And then this little ribbon here had been sent to me in a swap, and I thought that's going to be perfect for this particular project. Just a little fun fiber in a couple different colors. The spine is a 1/2 inch, and I reinforced it with lace. I had a single pamphlet stitch signature, my sewing threads running down the spine. This is a Heidi swap. My file folder was a Heidi swap file folder. The color was great, but it was not the thickest file folder out there. So I did have to reinforce it with extra cardstock, and I did want to reinforce my spine with the lace. And I also reinforced it on the inside, and I'll show you that in a minute. The back is real simple, just cardstock with a lace doily in a soft pink. It has a little shimmer to it. I used eyelets and lace ribbon for my closure. Kept it very simple. Up here I used a Tim Holtz file tab and just little bits of fiber sticking out the top. So let's get inside. I'd actually, when I put together the journal, I had thought about using tea-dyed seam binding. But when I actually put the tea-dyed seam binding through the holes, there's so much white lace on the inside, it looked really funky. Even though this has been tea-dyed a little bit, having that tea-dyed seam binding on the inside looked a little odd. So I went ahead and went for the white lace closure. So here we go. I have a pocket here for sticking tags or little notes. And I love that image. Tea is a cup of life. Isn't that sweet? And I got this image off of Pinterest here. Now on the inside, as I was mentioning, I did reinforce it. So I cut an extra piece of the file folder and I ran an extra piece down the inside of the journal. And you can't really tell when you're just opening it up, but when you look at it, you can see a little extra thickness there, just to make sure it stays together. And I hope whoever gets this journal actually uses it. I think it would be a great little journal for journaling or for writing down your tea recipes or, you know, just day-to-day notes that you want to make. So I love this paper here, and I made a pocket with the first 2 pages and just put in some journaling, a little extra journaling paper, and just a little clip on there. And you can move the clips, whoever gets it can move the clips to wherever they want them to be or take them out completely. So another little tuck spot here, and isn't that image gorgeous? I just love that. It's really, really feminine, really beautiful. And this image over here on the other side, this was actually in on a calendar that I had from Molly Makes magazine, and it's a UK magazine. I think they have an American version, but I still get the UK issues. And I saw this and I'm like, that has to go in the journal. So I just cut it out, and it was a little crinkly, but that's okay, it worked fine. A little bit of stamping on the back side of that image. And this is a wonderful doily impression. When I was tea dyeing my paper, that's the best I've ever gotten out of many, many tries. So I didn't want to cover it up. Just a little stamping on the corners. And a little tuck spot here. A little bit of lace at the top and some stamping. And just an index card. And I used my Fisker's lace punch on the edge and stamped a little teacup on here. Kept it very simple. And here's the little double tuck pocket here with the cute little teacup, and then here is the sands of time, time for tea. And then this is a little, just a little journaling tag here. And I think that image comes from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Here's my favorite picture out of the whole journal. Isn't she gorgeous? She is like the epitome of femininity. And her hat, her stole, just the beautiful rose, her jewelry, everything about it is just very feminine. Having tea, writing a letter while she's enjoying her cup of tea. Just a beautiful image. It's my favorite. And over on this side here, I have a little tuck spot, and I have a little stamp and some lace. This was actually a belly band. I'm going to have a sip of tea real quick. Oh, I love that tea. This was a belly band from a kit by Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And I didn't want the belly band, but I loved this image so much, and I thought it went really well with our little vintage lady on the other side. So I just cut the sides off and I turned them into little banners. So thank you, Debbie Ann. I love the little belly bands, but I just needed a tuck spot, and it worked perfectly. 2 tea time journaling cards, and on the tuck spot here, there's a little image. I'm going to pull it up closer so you can see it, of the little bird on the teacup, and on this image here also. And that's kind of an overriding theme throughout my journal, is the bird sitting on the teacup. This stamp here, isn't that pretty? It has so much definition to it. And I got that from the thrift store for 50 cents. It was a wonderful buy, let me tell you. And I was afraid when I got it. I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be all messy. No, it was fantastic. And another little tea time tag. And I just washi taped this onto my graph paper for a little extra journaling space. A little glassine on bag with some journaling tags in there. And this is from DCWV paper pack, and I think it's called Tea Time. And it has a little bit of glitter to the page, so it's really pretty. Just a journaling card that I made with a silhouette stamped on it. just a piece of scrapbook paper and some ribbon as a little tuck band. And this here, the school paper opens up for extra writing. This particular image comes from Mrs. Beaton's Guide to Household Management, which is an older book. It was actually a series of magazine articles is what it was. I think it started around the turn of the century, 1900s, maybe a little earlier. I think this particular image comes from a more modern version of the book, but it's all the tea accoutrements that a lady should have to serve tea well. And it's a lovely little image. I cut it down just a little bit and put it in here and just stamped "Keep Calm and Put the Kettle on" in the back. And this particular book I own. I bought it when I was in England, and I have to tell you, it weighed a ton. I had to pay extra for my luggage. I hauled that thing around. It's my favorite book. I love it, and I will never let it go. So a little birdie cup stamp here, and this is a stamp by Inkadinkadoo. There's not a name on the package for the particular stamp set, but it has coffee, other things about starting your day and having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And just a little extra stamping here, and I put some lace along the edge of the page. I kept this book pretty simple. My little tea stand here, my treat stand, and just some journaling tags. This image here I love, and I'm going to pull it up here so you can see it. If you see the whole you see this picture and you're thinking, oh, isn't that lovely? The little lady's having tea. But when you actually see the whole image, they're sitting out in an alleyway near the dustbin and a spittoon. It's not very clean. It's not very pretty, but the lace curtains in the background, they both have their good hats on. They're dressed nicely. The lovely little tablecloth on the table, and they're out there with their tea, and it makes it a really special moment, even if they're sitting in the alleyway. I love that image. So I put it in a Tim Holtz picture frame, and I just clipped it in with a paper clip. And if my swap partner doesn't care for this particular image, she can remove it easily. It's not stuck on the pages. This is from a digital kit I have from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and it has the little teacup and doily on the other side. And I tea stained it, and the paper I had used was a new paper, and look what happened. But isn't that gorgeous? It colored the inside, and some of the images kind of seeped through, and it's just like a little treat inside there. And I just have some mini index card journaling tags and a sweet little tea journaling tag that says, "Leave me be, I'm drinking my tea." Oops, missed a page. A large journaling tag here, and again it has the birds on the teacup. Keep calm and drink tea. And I've just clipped this on here. And this image over here, this is from, I think this is My Mind's Eye, and it has the little bird on top of the teacup. That just was a random thing that happened. It wasn't something I planned on doing. Just happened. A little tuck spot here, and then a double tuck spot here. And I think all of these tags come from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Isn't that teapot beautiful? I love tea time. My sister and I have been fascinated with it since we were little girls. When I went to England, I went to tea time every day, and I didn't care where I was. If it was simple, if it was fancy, it all was fantastic to me. I just loved every bit about it, just that little ritual every day. A little bit of the school writing paper, and then a little flower bling up with some bling up here. And you open it up, and inside is some extra journaling space and also another tea time journal card. Isn't that cute? I could have added a million different pieces of ephemera. Another tuck spot here. I had to stop myself because the book was getting so chunky that it was going to explode and hurt my partner. I'm sure there'd be ephemera flying. Just little journaling cards inside of here. And my little graph paper with a little stamping on it. And this image is sweet as can be. I love this. The teapot pouring hearts. And just a little simple lace at the bottom. This page here has a little tuck pocket and another tea time tag. And this one here, the color's a little stronger, but it's not too bold or bright. It's just really, it's a lovely image. And on this little square here on my tuck spot over on the side, I stamped the teacup image on here, and then I wiped it off after about, I'm going to say I waited maybe 5-6 seconds, and then I wiped it off, and it just left sort of a ghost imprint, and I really like how that turned out. Just a little journaling card here, and the Sunday magazine. Look at the image. The little gal having tea by herself, and she's obviously dreaming of somebody. I think that is just the sweetest image. And this has a little tuck spot here, or a pocket on the side, and there's a journaling tag in there. And then a little crochet flower with some ribbon, and a little tuck pocket over here. And this image came from the Molly Makes calendar. Valentine's Day, little sugar cookies. I think this is from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I love her little tags. And this image here of the tea and the flowers is really sweet. This is on an index card, oversized index card. I just used my Fisker's lace punch on the edge, and then I punched out a little tab from scrapbook paper and just made a little tab for interest. It's really a simple journal, but it is ready to be, it has fun things in it, but it's ready for whoever my partner is to get it and to fill it with the things that she really likes. On the other side of that doily imprint. Just love this paper in here. Just a little piece of lace and a little velvet trim, very simple. And my last pocket, there are 5 of these pockets in the journal. And there's a journaling card that I made with that cute little birdie and teacup stamp and some more journaling paper. I love these little mini clips, but I got to tell you, they're a little bit of a pain. I may swap those out for a little bit larger paper clip. And my last pages, isn't that beautiful? I love that image. And of course the tea table chat with the children in it. So I ran a lot of lace around the bottom of the pages all throughout and along the sides to make it more feminine and more in line with the tea time theme. And I had a good time putting this journal together, I have to tell you. It was, of course I could write about tea and talk about tea and have tea every day for the rest of my life. But this was just a really sweet little project. So I'm glad I was able to join the swap and get this completed for the on time. I love the swaps, but I work so slowly. I don't know how these gals do it and jump right in there. So that's my little journal that I want to share. I'm excited about this swap. I want to thank my subscribers. Thank you folks for subscribing. I love seeing your comments and the fact that you're sharing my videos. That means a lot to me. That's very sweet and I appreciate it. And thank you to the new subscribers that have come on recently, and welcome. I will be having a journal swap, or excuse me, a giveaway coming up very shortly on my channel, so stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions, just leave me a comment below and I will get back with you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.